Nobody's going to remember the person who walked away from the conflict, but everybody's going to remember the fool who went from 0 to 100 and put a hole in somebody, or spent the block and came back and shot somebody up. Everybody's going to remember that fool.
Willie D Live.
All of this because what? All of this because of what? Because you stabbed somebody at a track meet, man. You weren't defending your mama or your wife or your family. You was defending a seat on a stadium that you don't even own.
I don't think he was defending the seat. I think he was defending himself. The dude walked up to the dude and push him. You know, like, man, I'm going to tell you, well, let me put it like this. I'm telling you, all y'all right now, if you push me, ain't no telling what's going to happen to your ass. Don't push me. I'm telling you. I'm telling you straight up right now. Don't push me, because I don't know how far I'll go. I don't know exactly what I'll do. Do not put your hands on me. I operate under the idea that if you put your hands on somebody, you cannot determine the level of force that they retaliate with. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody should keep their hands to themselves. If Austin keeps his hands to himself and not decide that he's going to be the big bully and the badass, then Austin more than likely is in college right now. He's studying for exams. He's messing around with the girls. He's having parties. He's drinking or doing whatever that college students do. He's enjoying his life and everybody is cool. But no, Austin decided, I'm going to go up here and be the big bad wolf and tell this guy a little something. I'm going to make him move, not just tell him to move. I'm going to make him move. That ain't his job. That was not his job. That was the job of staff. That was the job of the coaches. That was the job of the police, but not a student. And I think what happened is Austin has been a bully for a while, and Austin ran out of bully points. He ran out of bully points. And that happens from time to time. For all you bullies out there, just remember that everybody ain't playing. Now I know that's hard to hear, right? But that's the truth. And the people that find it hard to hear oftentimes don't find it hard to hear when the victim is not white. When the victim is black, they don't give a damn what happened to him. Well, you got what just comply. You should have complied. Well, what happened? Well, what happened first? If he hadn't done this, then he'd be alive. Ha, ha, ha. They actually laugh about it. I'm not laughing about this. This is no laughing matter. This is not. It's nothing. It's nothing good comes out of this whatsoever, because one might even say the fact that Karmelo defended himself and brought the heat down on Austin and took him out, that maybe some of these other bullies will get the point. But I don't think so, because America is a bully nation. We're a bully society. Our bullies in high school, our bullies in elementary become bullies in middle school. The middle school bullies become high school bullies. The high school bullies become college bullies, and the college bullies become corporate bullies. That's the way this country is designed. And people talk a lot about bullying. They have a problem with bullying when the bullying happens to them or somebody that they love. But other than that, they actually love to see bullies. A lot of the people right now in that town of Frisco, where it happened at, are Trump supporters. Everybody can agree that Trump is a bully. You know he's a bully, and they like it. They like it because he's their guy. See? And so these type of things are going to continue to happen because this country suffers from an acute case of compassion, lack of compassion. Lack of compassion. It's the lack of respect for the next person. I don't bully anybody. Even if somebody I know I can mop the floor up with, I'm not going to try to bully that person. I don't try to even bully my nieces. I never disrespected my nieces or my nephews, even my children. Never once disrespected them, because I know that, you remember growing up, that was a commercial that used to say kids are people too. I believe that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Kids are people too, man. It's as simple as that, man. And you got to have respect, common respect for everybody, man. Or sometimes, man, you gonna mess around and get your head knocked off out here, man, because everybody not playing. So yeah, this is a bad situation for Karmelo Anthony. This is bad, and it's horrible that he's going through this. But it's also horrible that you have people out here with the mentality of trying to control Black bodies. This is how you get the advent of the Karens. Trying to control Black bodies is what it's really about. You don't belong here. Get away. You don't belong here. People deputizing themselves to do the job of authorities. Everybody thinks they're an authority when it comes to Black bodies. And that's what happened. That's the problem. That's the fundamental problem here. And these type of things are going to continue to happen because this is the type of society that we live in, and nobody's really trying to address that. Man, we got a mental health crisis in America. Mental health crisis in America, and we spending money on everything except our mental health, which is more important than all of this other stuff that we see. All of the cars, the houses, the trips, the damn NBA finals. Mental health is more important than all of that stuff. And we don't pay attention to that. We overlook it. And it's getting worse and worse each day. I think all of this stuff, racism, racism, bullying, disrespect, all of this stuff, in my opinion, is a result of mental illness. People have some type of problem with conflict resolution. We got horrible conflict resolution skills in this country. People go from 0 to 1,000, just like that. Everybody want to kill everybody. You in the streets, you can't drive down the street. If you cut somebody off, they ready to kill you, and they forgot that they just cut somebody off 5 minutes ago. So we don't want to race. Go ahead.
But what you're saying, Willie D, is that there's a time in which you can't use deadly force. And cutting just because somebody cut you off in the street.
Yeah, that's I would not deal. That's, to me, is the craziest thing ever.
Let's think about it like this, man. I put all my kids in martial arts. I know you box, and remember, y'all got to check Willie D out. Google Willie D boxing, man. He was beating up some dude some years back, man. Y'all check it out. So Willie D he's a hard hitter, okay? And he's always been, and I've always had great respect for him as a man. But unfortunately, Willie, a lot of these youngsters didn't grow up like us. Nobody taught them how to box. Nobody taught them how to fight. So they're running around scared. Any conflict means that they should fear for their life. And that's not just this particular situation. A lot of these young boys that pick up a pistol or a weapon or something is because they can't fight and they're afraid to lose. They're afraid. Now, if we would take the time to actually, how we fix bullies? You know how you fix a bully? Hit them right in the nose a couple of times, and that'll get them right out. No. So what I say is this, man. I always say, like I said earlier, I don't ever expect my sons to use a fist fight as a reason to take somebody out. But I've also prepared them, whether we talk about karate, jiu-jitsu. I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu myself. I don't want to fight anybody. I'm trying to walk away from conflict. But if put in the corner and I have to defend myself, I will. But even then, I'm not going to choke somebody out, just because they push me. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to practice restraint. So even in your hottest moment, you still can't use the type of force that to kill somebody. Life is precious. And then what do you do to your life? Now, Willie, I'm gonna push back on something. You didn't get to where you are being a multimillionaire, multi-platinum, world-renowned businessman and artist by losing your temper every time somebody says something or did something crazy to you. See, you and I, we are of a certain age now, we kind of don't care no more. You see what I mean? We of a certain age, we're like, I ain't worried about nothing. Kids grown, I'm good, I'm comfortable. So our mindset is different. We can't tell these youngsters, yeah, man, somebody do something, you crash out. We can't tell them that. We can do that because let's just be honest. At this age, at this middle age, our mindset is that bones hurt, cartilage hurt. I can't move as fast. Yeah, every altercation is possibly deadly just because we can't move like a 20-year-old or 25-year-old. We can't move like that. So we expect people to leave us alone. That's why the old saying is leave old men alone. I learned that a long time ago. Leave them old men alone. And that's that reason. But I think the responsible thing to do, man, and this is a tragic situation, is just try to learn. Look, man, whatever anybody say, I get what Austin Metcalf did. I get what the bullies do. But my suggestion is to anybody who don't want that law to get their hands on them is if you can walk away from a conflict, do it. Nobody's going to remember the person who walked away from the conflict, but everybody's going to remember the fool who went from 0 to 100 and put a hole in somebody or spent the block and came back and shot somebody up. Everybody's going to remember that fool. Okay? Yeah, so just think about it like that. I think that's the responsible thing to say.
I absolutely agree that is the responsible thing to say and do, because I'm gonna tell you something. Conflict is costly. Even if you win, you might lose. And this is where we are with Karmelo Anthony. You know, like even if he won the battle, but he'll lose the war, they're gonna have to get up out of that county. They can't live like they can't live there anymore. They have to move, and for the rest of his life, wherever he goes, they're going to remember him like they remembered O.J. Simpson. Now, probably not to that extent, but this name will be around a long time, and so he has to deal with that and live with that. So and so that'll have a psychological impact on him also. His family would be impacted by that. His children, his unborn children, would be impacted by that. So conflict is costly, and this is why I do try to avoid conflict. But that's why I say I avoid conflict, because it's costly, and I don't know what I will do. I just don't know how. Yeah. So I try my best to avoid these type of situations, avoid conflict. If I know, when I was younger, if a party was going on, I just went to the party. And even if I knew killers was going to be there, I'm like, well, they ain't going to kill me. You know, like in my mind, I'm like, as long as they don't mess with me, they can kill who they want to kill. I'm going into the belly of the beast knowing that every other week, somebody gets killed at this club. Every 2-3 weeks, somebody get killed at this club. And I'm still going. Well, like you say, we're older now, we're more mature. We got, our minds are different now. We got families, responsibilities, and liabilities. And so now I'm thinking like, yo, if these fools, these nuts are over here, then I want to be over here as far away from these clowns as possible, because I know conflict is costly. So that's why I try to avoid it. I try to avoid it by any means necessary, man.
And you brought up something that I don't think anybody's touched. You mentioned liability. See, the civil lawsuit still ain't came down yet. They got 2 years from when the incident happened to file a civil lawsuit, not just against the school board, but also against Karmelo and his parents, because he was 17 at the time. Mm-hmm. And so what we looking at also, and here's another thing, I think a very little known fact, is that one of the coaches, which means one of the employees of the school board, sent Austin Metcalf a text message saying, when are you going to step up? In other words, you got somebody over here in the tent talking bad about the football team, saying things like your team is ass. So you all need to regulate that. In other words, now look, this ain't what we talking about today. I know that's not where we're at. but you're looking at a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. You basically got an employee of the school board telling this underage child that he needs to act as a police force / regulatory force for the school tent. And so now there's liability associated. There's a training issue. You don't do that to children. You see, there's a lack of supervision. Here they are. This is a school-sponsored event. You got all these children. Where were the adults? So, and then on top of that, and let's set the school board and the schools aside and the county and the district. You also have the situation where Karmelo Anthony's parents can get sued because that was their child and they're responsible for what he does until he turns age 18. And so they might end up getting sued. So not only will the gentleman have a problem, let's say he does get out of prison. Now you're looking at a massive multi-million-dollar judgment over your head for the rest of your life. So, that's just another thing. And maybe that's something we could talk about later. They have 2 years. And once this conviction happens, it becomes that much easier to prove that in a Frisco County court or Frisco court. Just think about that. Just something to throw out there.
Now, I did not know about that text message, but I did hear that the DA is friends with Austin Metcalf's dad, Jeff, and that Austin Metcalf's dad, Jeff, is also friends with the judge. Mm-hmm. If that is the case, that is a direct conflict of interest.